Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again, and we're still on bye-week form. But guess what? The team comes back and practice this week between today and Thursday to get ready for the Monday night football game against the Tennessee Titans. Now it's a home game, so since we won all our home games this year, that should only tell you one thing, and that's what they're gonna win. Okay, well we'll see. Let me take it back though. Little assessment from some of the things that they were thinking about, not only throughout this bye week, but let me take it back to the offseason and free agency. So their philosophy then at that point was this: they wanted to make the team better. And again, I've said this before, player acquisition is 365 days out of the year. We know our Dallas Cowboys have not been big players in free agency. And because of that reason, I know some of you guys call it trash heap players or discount players or just people to just fill space. Now, I've always was one to, I understand that you can't have a steak on every plate, meaning you can't have an all-pro at every position or at every spot at every position. I get that because there's a little something called the salary cap, and you got to stay below that legally in this league. So one thing that is interesting too, because it looks like the team backtracked on a whole lot of things that they were talking about in the offseason. It's like, okay, we made a mistake. Now we have to fix it during this bye week. So let me just go through some things just to jog your memory. So with the whole wide receiver thing, they cut Dez last April. They got rid of Orlando Scandrick mainly because he wanted to go. Jason Witten retired. And we lost Anthony Hitchens to the Kansas City Chiefs. Keith Smith went to the Raiders. And so on and so forth. We had some trades during the draft. We got Tavon Austin and traded off Ryan Switzer. We traded to get Jameis Olawale. And then we got Jihad Ward, but we didn't keep Jihad Ward. So you look at a lot of the moves and things that they were doing this offseason. Some of them have stuck, some of them haven't. So let's just go through it. So as far as the wide receiver core goes, the notion was that, hey, Dak doesn't need a number one wide receiver. His stats show that when he throws it to more than one person, he spreads it around the field. He's better. Now, I agree with that, but I don't at the same time. Because I think that yes, he's better when he has more players, or I guess can spread it around and not concentrating on giving it to one person. But also too, I think that as a young quarterback, he still needs reliable targets. He needs somebody that garnishes double teams, that puts a little fear in the defense's heart. We don't have that. Dez is gone. Because he, no matter, even when he didn't have good games, he still garnered double teams. I mean, because they were trying to get him out of the game because, like, we know that this is your number one. So now without a number one wide receiver, teams are looking at Zeke and like, okay, if we stop you, then there's nothing else that you guys can do offensively to beat us because we don't trust Dak to beat us. Okay. So with that being said, they go and cut Dez. They go through this season with a bunch of 2s and 3s. They went and got Tavon Austin, so they were thinking that Tavon Austin was going to be the centerpiece of that wide receiver group to help make things easier for Zeke and Dak. Now, that's a nice thing to think about, but in my opinion, I was like, you're going to need more to Tavon because Tavon wasn't proven with the Rams because they didn't use him like he wanted to be used, and it was some animosity with him and the Rams, you know, towards the end of his time there. So you got to kind of like evaluate things in a way that fits your scheme because every NFL scheme is different. Some of them may be similar, but it's not the same. And again, I say this all the time. You have to play to your players' strengths. And we don't know how to develop players, and that's a problem. Now, we go through 7 weeks of the season with Deontay Thompson, with Tavon Austin, with Cole Beasley, with Terrence Williams, a little that he did play. They went and brought back Bryce Butler. Didn't use him at all. I think he was in like 5 plays in total the whole time he was with the team this time. And poor Bryce, they went and traded for Amari Cooper and cut him. I would have rather them cut Deontay Thompson. Because every time they pass it to him, it seems like he'll catch 1 or 2 here and there, but then the ball will bounce off his chest or bounce off his shoulder or the side of his head or something, and it's either intercepted or it hits the ground. And I'm like, and we're keeping him for what? Terrence Williams has so many issues right now, and he's on IR. I'm pretty sure he's not coming back after this year. Now, although I did like Terrence Williams because he did do good things in his offense. He was a great blocking wide receiver, and when the play breaks down, he was always there to be able to come back to the ball and catch it. Right now, Cole Beasley is your longest tenured receiver, which is starting to become a nice little security blanket for Dak. But the problem with that is he's a slot guy. He's an underneath route runner. You still need somebody there that garnishes the attention from the defense. And who better to do that? So what did they do after 7 weeks and going into the bye week? They're like, you know what? We're just going to give up a first-round pick because we don't think that there's anybody in this upcoming draft that garnishes for us to take that first-round pick. So because of that reason, they decided, hey, we're gonna get our first-round pick early and trade for Amari Cooper, because we damn sure ain't going to let the Eagles get him with a second, because they already stacked on offense. They don't even need him. Cowboys already seen this happen with Jay Ajayi, with the Eagles getting Jay Ajayi and bolstering their offense, and all Dallas was doing was just getting trash heap players. And, of course, that frustrated our fan base because, like, what are we going to do? And I know you guys were just like me sitting at home, like, during free agency, like, yo, I better see a report come across that screen that y'all picked up somebody that was worth it. Because you saw monster trades throughout the offseason. Cowboys didn't entertain none of it. And then when we go sign a player, and I remember, because I've done videos on it, and I just laugh at some of the comments, like, well, what the hell are we doing? Like, and again, you guys are hilarious. I love y'all. So, and I agree. I completely agree with you guys. And it's frustrating because it's like, damn, can we at least get one person that's going to change this team for the better? Even though football is a team sport, but sometimes pieces help in certain places. Now, with Amari Cooper being here now, my only issue with it, and not him, ain't got nothing to do with him, and ain't got nothing to do with Dak. It's all Linehan. And Linehan has no more excuses right now because, and I'll get into that too, as I talk about the offensive line and Paul Alexander being fired, he has no more excuses because now he can't blame any other coordinators because you are the play caller. You have to do your job. It's like pieces to a puzzle. If one is not in place, the whole picture is not created. So I look at it like this. If Linehan comes in here this week and he stinks up the place and he calls that BS stuff, that conservative play calling, and I'm not going to say creative because it's just fundamental football. Screenplays, misdirection, end arounds, wheel routes, jet sweeps. Hell, you can put Amari Cooper on a jet sweep the first play of the game on offense just to loosen him up. Like, I would do something like that. I wouldn't even throw the ball deep to him first. I would loosen up that thing, get him in space because, again, I don't know how many times I had to keep saying this. Our team plays better when we're in space. When we are cluttered up, there's nothing that we can do. We have to spread it out because now you have the threat of Dak, you got the threat of Zeke, you got the threat of our little small receivers, whether it's Cole Beasley and Tavon when he's not injured. And now you got Amari Cooper. I said this in the video about Amari Cooper, that he's great against press man coverage. He gets off that break and he gets that quick slant. That gives Dak a quick throw. Even if it's only 8 yards. The fact of the matter that he will fight for those extra yards, because I've watched tape on Amari and I've seen him since his rookie year with the Raiders, and I know what he can do. So there's no reason why we can't succeed with Amari Cooper. Because I'm going to tell you right now, teams still are not going to be afraid that Amari Cooper's here. That's not going to change. Because they're going to look at it like this. Because, again, the other teams are still hating Dak. They're looking at Dak like, oh, he's still not able to get the ball downfield, even though he's done it. For whatever reason, they're going to still be looking at Zeke, and they're going to take a chance on Amari Cooper beating them. And that's when you make them pay. You make the defense pay. And how do you make the defense pay? Because I just said it. In their minds, they're going to be thinking, okay, I'm still going to look after Zeke because I know what he can do with these Cowboys. Amari Cooper had only been here, well, I guess at that time it'd be almost 2 weeks, a week and a half, I guess. He probably don't even know the playbook. They don't know what to do with him. So that's what defenses are going to be thinking. So they're still going to be trying to load the box. Go ahead, load that box. Load it up. Get a nice little quick slant to Amari Cooper, kind of like how Odell Beckham does with the Giants. Those quick slants, and he's gone like 45 yards. That's what you need to do with Amari Cooper. Make that defense pay and make them back their asses up. That's what you do. That is what you do. That is the key. Again, I'm just a fan, y'all. I've never been in the pros. I've never been a coach in the pros. This is just common goddamn sense. Now, then they fire Frank Pollock, offensive line coach. They swap positions. He goes to the Bengals. Alexander comes to us. Alexander was the coach for the Bengals for 23 years, offensive line. He was good in that scheme because of his power blocking scheme. But the way that his scheme was and how he likes the scheme doesn't fit with the way our offensive lineman is, because they're not big, burly, fat guys. Most of them are athletic and they're able to move. Perfect example. The reason why I'm loving the fact that he got fired, and I hate to see people that lose their jobs, but it was a good thing for us, because getting Mark Colombo that position with Hudson Hawk being his advisor, basically the overseer, it's going to help tremendously. Now, just in case you guys didn't know, Mark Colombo was a starter for us. He was originally a first-round pick for the Bears. He spent his whole rookie contract years with the Bears. He came with the Cowboys. Then he played with us. And then I think he went to the Dolphins for a year after us, and then he retired. And he came back and retired as a Dallas Cowboy, because he knew that this was his home. Regardless that he got drafted in the first round to the Bears, Dallas was still his home, because when he came here, this was the most productive years of his career. So Mark Colombo knows these players well. They trust him. So that's a big thing. Another thing is, too, when Mark Colombo was playing, Hudson Hawk was his offensive line coach. So the philosophy is the same. So the way that the years that this offensive line was good, even when with Tyron Smith and Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, that was the scheme that they were using. The same one that Mark Colombo was in, which is what Frank Pollock continued to coach with this team. I was still wondering why they even fired Frank Pollock. I don't understand that. But when they fired him, they didn't give Mark Colombo the spot. They didn't have enough confidence in him to be like, all right, well, you could be the new offensive coordinator, even though that offensive line coach, even though he was already the assistant before Frank Pollock left. They didn't want to give it to him. But now all of a sudden you fire Paul Alexander because it didn't work out, and now you're ready to you're ready to put Mark Colombo in that spot. Sometimes the decisions doesn't make sense what they do. They should have never hired Paul Alexander in the first place, because I knew in the offseason, and I tried to be optimistic about it. I was like, oh, maybe because he has a bunch of years in, maybe he'll be good. At the time, I didn't think about that the scheme was different, that he was going to change that whole thing. And that's a lot of the reasons why things have changed. On top of that, with the injuries we've been having. Hudson Hawk was basically the offensive line coach for this team twice. He was here from 93 to 2001. He was here when Jason Garrett himself was playing on the team. I'm going to say this again. Hudson Hawk was the offensive line coach when Jason Garrett was the backup quarterback for Troy Aikman. He leaves. He comes back in 2008 and coaches again from 2008 to 2011. So that whole camaraderie thing and that whole knowing the Cowboys' offensive scheme, Hudson Hawk knows it the best. And I think that was a great decision, finally, for them to bring him in as an advisor to help out Mark Colombo. Now, I know a lot of you guys trash Jason Garrett for going to the Dodgers game, but I'm going to tell you straight up. Everybody deserves a break. Whether you hate Jason Garrett or not, because I'm with you. I don't think that Jason Garrett needs to be the coach of this team. And, I know a lot of you talking about he needs to stay focused on the team. Well, the Ford Center was a ghost town over the weekend. You know why? Because the whole team and all the staff was on vacation. That is their right. I can't go to your job and tell you, oh yeah, you can't take a vacation. If you work an office job and you got a proposal to do, and you didn't do good on your proposal, or you didn't get the proposal from that customer to get your make your company more money, that was an L for it. But you take a vacation, and that's like your coworkers or people outside saying to you, like, how dare you take a vacation from your job and you didn't get that proposal? Now, does that make sense? It's the same thing. So I can't sit here and criticize Jason Garrett for going to the Dodgers game, because that is his own vacation free time. He is allocated that. It's a bye week. That's what the bye week is for. This is the reason why the NFL created the bye week. So you can get away from football for a minute. The players are injured, can heal up a little bit. They can get their rehab done. Just get away, restart your brain, and get back to it. Because it's only 4 days. Come on now. You got to give them that. I'm not mad at Jason Garrett for that. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't be. And I'm looking, and I'm telling y'all, I'm real. I'm thinking realistically, and I need you guys to understand that before you start criticizing people. Look at it from a different perspective. That's all I'm trying to bring to you. Don't hate me for it. I'm just trying to bring it to your attention that, like, we cannot be upset that he went to the Dodgers game. And I think that it was wrong as hell for Jimmy Johnson to even say that about Jason Garrett, because first of all, sir, you don't even coach anymore, and you know damn well your ass went to Cabo when on your bye week as well. So I don't want to hear that. Jason Garrett didn't even go out of the country. He just went to a baseball game and came back. That's all he did. And then I hear that he actually went there also not only to see the game, because he knows some of the staffers for the Dodgers, and he didn't even stay at the game. He left early. He also went to go meet up with Hudson Hawk, because Hudson Hawk lives in LA, because he wanted to talk to him about being an advisor for Mark Colombo, so he can seal the deal. So technically, if you want to think about it, he was kind of working, because he went out there to get Hudson Hawk. Now, that's what I hear, and I'm not going to say that I buy that, but at the same time, I'm not going to be against it either, because, again, that's his business if he wants to go to LA. Hell, the players went away. Players went back home. Brett Maher went home to see his wife in Nebraska. Come on now, to see his wife, his kids. They all went away. Everybody went away. Even Amari Cooper had to go back to the Bay because he had to get the rest of his stuff. Because when he came, when they traded him, all he had time was to hop on a plane with a little ass bag to go see the team and stay for the week and practice a little bit and, learn the facility. Then he had to go back and get the rest of his stuff. That's basically what he did. So him and Dak wasn't working but so much during that time. They're probably working now this week because everybody's coming back this week. But again, they don't play till Monday night, so they have this whole week to implement their game plan. And that, like I said, that's what the bye week for, and I'm not going to crush Jason Garrett for that. As much as I want to crush Jason Garrett for everything that he does, like the clapping and him not being in the player's face enough, I'm just telling you, that's one thing that I cannot crush him for because that is his time. Because I'd be damned if somebody going to tell me I can't take no vacation. I'd be like, here's these days off. I'm gone. I'm going overseas somewhere. But, yeah. But, not to be long-winded, y'all. I just wanted to just put that in perspective during this bye week. As we get ready to play the Titans Monday night, it's good to see that the team's coming back this week to have a sense of normalcy going on around. So, with that being said, y'all, like, share, comment. It's your boy E2 Blue. I'll holler at y'all later.